friends, welcome back to my channel and Merry Christmas. In this video I'm going to show you 5 Christmas cookies or holiday cookies that you can make this Christmas that are relatively easy. Actually, I think all of them are pretty easy and they're quite good, so keep watching. To start off with, we're making my chocolate chip cookie recipe, and trust me, this is one you will want to try. I have been working on perfecting this recipe for literal years, and this is my final product. It is so perfect. So I do not recommend you change up anything in this recipe. Normally I'm encouraging a creative spirit, but maybe not for this recipe. I mean, you could, of course, but it's so good just the way it is. And as you can see, I have relatively softened butter, but not too soft, because when I put in the brown butter, it's usually pretty warm and that softens the butter as it's mixing. So anyway, this just turns out perfectly. I can't say that enough. I use salted butter, but totally a preference thing. You can adjust the salt accordingly. Because I was making such a large batch of cookies, as I do, I used my Danish dough whisk, which I love, by the way. I will link that down below. I used that to just kind of get everything mixed from the bottom, because sometimes the dough on the bottom will be a little softer and then your cookies won't come out evenly. So it's really important to make sure everything's mixed really well if you're doing a big batch like I do. And this is how they turned out. We actually had a couple of people over on the day that I made these cookies, and we served them to them, and one of the gentlemen told me that these were the best cookies he had ever eaten in his entire life. So that's pretty high praise. Definitely, again, recommend that you try them. Next up, we have peanut butter blossoms, and I've shared this recipe before on, I don't know, TikTok, Instagram, Reels. I probably made a YouTube short with it, but people were asking, they saw me make this, I think, in a video. I don't make these often because it's just a lot of sugar, but people were asking how I made them, and so I shared that video. But here's another one, and it's so simple. It is 1 cup of peanut butter, 1 cup of sugar, and 1 egg. And then I think the trick here is to just mix it really well. The more you mix it, the more it forms into a dough, and it just comes out perfectly. So I kept these in spheres, I guess you call it. And then I coated them in sugar, which I don't normally do, but I think, you know, for peanut butter blossoms, it's the thing to do. And I did not also, I don't know, fork them. I don't know what you call it. You know, where you press the fork in, crisscross it. I did not do that. I just kept them like that in little ball shapes. And then when they were done, I put the Hershey Kisses on the tops of them while they were still warm, just right when they came out of the oven. And yeah, and then I do little special effects here where I reverse the video. I thought that was pretty cool of me. And anyway, they turned out really, really delicious. Peanut butter, chocolate, can't go wrong. Next, Nutter Butter Snowmen. I had this little icing pack that it was the little black icing tube thing. That was from gingerbread houses that we had made. I was actually hoping to figure out something for the snowman's eyeballs, but really you can just use see, this is one where you can really just be creative. And I used Twizzlers, like orange ones for the carrot noses. You could use real carrots if you want. You can use anything. I don't recommend using real carrots. And for some reason, the combination of this vanilla almond bark with the Nutter Butter, the peanut butter and the vanilla, I don't know. It's just a really, really good flavor combination. And I will say too, this almond bark dries pretty quickly, so work fast. If you don't, you can do what I did. And I kept melting the almond bark in a bowl and used it sort of as glue to glue on the little chocolate chip buttons. You can just, yeah, get so creative with this. At the end, I decided to make little Twizzler scarves, and yeah, just make it your own, whatever you have around the house. This is what I did, and they turned out pretty cute. Definitely not perfect. They could be neater, but they just look so cute on like a plate of Christmas cookies. If you made all these cookies in the video, I think the plate would look very attractive and very festive. Next, we have Christmas sprinkle cookies, and I'm particularly excited to share this recipe with you all because this is a recipe where I had made it like years ago using someone's recipe, and then that recipe disappeared, and I could not find it anywhere. That person had taken it down, and it bothered me. I searched, I don't know, a long time throughout the last couple of years maybe, but to no avail. And basically this was just one of those things where I had to figure it out on my own. This was trial and error. I made the recipe to the best of my ability. I kind of messed up the first time, and I did not share it with you guys until I got the recipe perfect, and this one obviously that I'm sharing with you is perfect. I mean, I would say it is. It's really, really good. So it's basically, I don't know, I guess you would consider it kind of like a shortbread cookie, but it's good, and it comes out quite delicious. It's one of those cookies where you don't want to eat like a lot, or you will feel like you ate too many cookies. So they are delicious though. I do flatten them slightly before I put them in the oven because they come out kind of like in the same shape that you put them in. They don't spread. And as you can see here, I am coating them in Christmas sprinkles and sanding sugar. I tried to, be fancy and switch it out like every other white and red, but you can get creative with this. Do those, whatever sprinkles will stick to this cookie, basically. I recommend the sanding sugar. I think it's pretty delish on this cookie, but totally up to you. It's your cookie. Okay, I probably spent way too long panning over these cookies with my camera, but I thought they looked so good. They look festive, and this will definitely make your holiday cookie plate sparkle. So next up, we have my personal favorite of the cookies, which is chocolate meringue cookies. They are quite good. I actually was running out of eggs, or running low on eggs, so I used liquid egg whites, and I used a half a cup. The recipe calls for 4 egg whites, and I did a little research, and that's about what it was. As you can see, I snuck in a little extra splash there because I thought it wasn't quite enough. Then I measured in the palm of my hand about a half a teaspoon of cream of tartar, and that kind of helps. I think it helps that the peaks stay stiff with the eggs as you're whipping it. Sometimes this can be a little bit difficult to do, but I just watch it as it's starting to form soft peaks. I add the sugar in. I like to have these ingredients ready, the sugar and the cocoa powder. I do sift the cocoa powder, and I happen to sift the sugar too because it was kind of clumpy, but anyway. And then I kind of add it just a little bit at a time, maybe like a tablespoon at a time. And then as you can see, I turned the speed up a little bit and then added the cocoa powder because I'm dumb. I don't know why. And it made a huge mess everywhere. I think I was just going by feel, kind of like not feel because I wasn't feeling it, but like how it looked like it felt. I don't know. The stiffness of the egg whites, and I adjust the speed accordingly. I don't usually ever go down with the speed. I usually start around medium and work my way up to a little bit faster toward the end there. I don't know. It's hard to explain. You really just have to kind of eyeball it and get a feel for it. Then as I'm putting the cookies on the pan with my cookie scoop, I just take the bottom side of the cookie scoop and kind of flatten it just a little bit. This kind of just helps it cook more evenly or bake more evenly. And I like to dust the top with cocoa powder. Totally optional, of course, but you could, sometimes I would do little mini chocolate chips or what have you. So yeah, definitely a preference thing, but these turned out amazing. As you can see in the recipe, I showed that you can keep them in the oven for about a half an hour to dry out. This batch I kept in for about 15 minutes just because I like mine a little bit chewier, but I'm breaking it in half here so you can see how delicious it is. These were quite good. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you got some inspiration and were able to use some of these recipes. If you did, you can tag me over on Instagram with some pictures and I would love to see that. Also, let me know in the comments which recipe was your favorite. I know which one was my favorite. It was the last one. I probably already said that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.